The moment Daniel walked into the school reunion, his ex-wife laughed loudly enough for everyone to hear. She looked him up and down, from his simple gray shirt to his worn shoes, and mocked him for arriving alone, telling the room that some people never managed to escape the life they were born into. What she didn't know was that the quiet man standing in front of her had spent the last decade building a company worth billions, and he had come to the reunion not to prove anything to her, but to finally make peace with the man he had once been. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that people should never be judged by appearances, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this story, leave a comment, and subscribe to Echoes of Kindness. Your support helps us bring more stories of hope, dignity, and transformation. 10 years earlier, Daniel had been the boy everyone overlooked and the husband his ambitious young wife, Victoria, eventually became ashamed of. He had worked 2 jobs while studying at night, dreaming of creating technology that could help small businesses survive. Victoria had once loved that dream, but as the years passed, she became impatient. She wanted expensive dinners, designer clothes, and a life that looked successful from the outside. Daniel kept telling her that success took time, but Victoria stopped believing in him. One rainy evening, after Daniel came home exhausted from another 14-hour day, she told him she was leaving. She said she couldn't spend her life waiting for a man who might never become anything. Daniel begged her to remember the promises they had made, but she had already packed her bags. Their marriage ended with Daniel standing alone in their tiny apartment, staring at the photograph from their wedding and wondering how the person he loved most had become a stranger. The following years nearly broke him. Daniel lost his job, his savings disappeared into a small business idea that failed, and there were nights when he slept in an office because he couldn't afford rent. But something inside him refused to die. He studied, experimented, failed again, and started over. Eventually, he created a software platform that helped struggling businesses manage their finances and survive difficult economic periods. At first, only 3 companies used it. Then 30. Then thousands. Investors came. International companies came. Within a few years, Daniel's company became one of the fastest-growing technology firms in the country. His net worth eventually crossed the billion-dollar mark, but Daniel never forgot the years when he had counted every coin before buying dinner. He kept the same modest habits, partly because wealth had never been the thing he truly wanted. What he wanted was to know that his life had meaning. That was why he attended the reunion wearing ordinary clothes and driving an old car instead of arriving with security guards and luxury vehicles. He wanted to see the people who had known him before the money. He wanted to remember Daniel, the young man with big dreams and empty pockets. But the moment Victoria saw him, her old judgment returned. She was now dressed in an elegant blue gown, surrounded by successful former classmates, and she proudly spoke about her own career and wealthy husband. When she recognized Daniel, her smile turned cold. She made a joke about how he still dressed like someone who had never made it. Several people laughed awkwardly. Daniel simply lowered his eyes and smiled. Victoria continued, reminding everyone that she had once been married to him and implying that she had escaped before he could drag her down. She told the room that leaving him had been the smartest decision of her life. Daniel felt the old pain for a moment, but instead of anger, he felt something unexpected, gratitude. Her rejection had hurt him deeply, but it had also forced him to discover his strength. He quietly told her that he was glad she had found happiness. That calm answer unsettled her more than any insult could have. Then the reunion organizer stepped onto the stage to announce the evening's surprise. A major donation had been made to the school to build a scholarship program for students from struggling families. The donor had requested that his name remain private until the announcement. When the screen behind the stage lit up, everyone fell silent. The name appeared in enormous letters, Daniel Carter, founder and CEO of Carter Technologies. Victoria's face lost its color. The room erupted in whispers. The man she had mocked for being unsuccessful was not merely doing well, he had become a billionaire whose company was known around the world. But Daniel didn't look at her with satisfaction. He looked at the old school, remembering the younger version of himself who had once dreamed of helping people without knowing whether he would ever escape poverty. Victoria approached him later, tears in her eyes, finally understanding how badly she had misjudged him. Daniel accepted her apology, but he didn't reopen the past. He simply told her that forgiveness wasn't about pretending nothing had happened. It was about refusing to let yesterday control tomorrow. Victoria walked away crying, while Daniel stood beneath the lights feeling lighter than he had in years. That night, Daniel realized something money could never buy. The greatest victory wasn't becoming a billionaire. It was becoming a man who no longer needed the people who rejected him to recognize his worth. He had lost a marriage, lost his home, lost his confidence, and nearly lost hope. Yet every painful chapter had led him toward a life he never could have imagined. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who has ever been underestimated, and subscribe to Echoes of Kindness. Sometimes one small act of support helps these stories reach the person who needs them most. Before the ending, comment, "Kindness is stronger than judgment," if you believe that a person's true worth should never be measured by their clothes, their bank account, or their past. Daniel left the reunion quietly, just as he had entered it. No celebration, no revenge, and no need to prove anything. Outside, the night air was cool, and the school windows glowed behind him. He looked back one last time and smiled. Once, he had walked through those halls believing he wasn't enough. Now he understood the truth: sometimes the people who make you feel worthless are simply unable to see the value you carry inside. And sometimes, the most beautiful second chance isn't getting someone back, it's finally becoming the person you were always meant to be.